Morgan.
Um, Rachel's like, these two unprofessional bitches. So here's the tea.
I love this. This is this is
She's been going
great.
first the past couple of weeks, and so I just am like waiting for her to be like, it's casual. Okay, look.
I think we should keep it in, personally.
I love it. I love it.
Okay. Anyway, cut, retake, take two. Welcome to another episode of Character Development. My name's Morgan.
And my name's Sydney, and we have our mutual friend Rachel Chambers on the call with us today. Not the call. It's not a Zoom call. The podcast.
Triggers.
Literally triggered. Sorry. Rachel is on the podcast with us today.
Thank you.
So Rachel was born in New York, but she grew up in Jamaica. And she's really left her mark in many ways throughout her life and her career. She is currently a PGM on the Project Starline team at Google. And over her 6-year career, she started out in the smart home space and now is working on new exciting technology, AI, and more. Outside of her day job, Rachel also serves as the lead for the Black Googler Network, where she manages and curates events and initiatives for Black Googlers with a heavy focus on DEI initiatives. But before she went to Google, she graduated from Emory University down in Atlanta, where she focused on human health and ethics, which has contributed to her overall passion for health and wellness in her everyday life and those around her. She's dedicated to solving the gap experienced by marginalized groups when it comes to healthcare, accessibility, affordability, and equity. For her, healthcare is a right and everyone should have access to it. And as such, new technology, research, and improved policy can help make this a reality. Rachel is not new to advocating space, as she has been on, or the advocating space, as she's been on campaigns with Dr. Jill Biden and even President Obama for free community college in the past, and was also recognized by Congress for her work within New York City during her community college years. She also had a love for community, and this can be seen even today, not only through her work at Google, but also in other groups such as Over the Top out in Oakland. If you know, you know. She has many interests, but some notable ones are traveling, food, health and wellness, investing, and music. She also is an entrepreneur, and we'll get more into this, where she is the COO for Stowaway Music Distribution Company, with other great business ideas on the horizon.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That was so well said, Sid.
I was reading it like, okay, you know how you know what your friends do for a living, but then when it's actually written out for you, you're like, what? Okay, yeah, my friend is popping.
I appreciate it. Yeah, life was very different pre Oakland.
I'm like, okay, Jill Biden and President Obama.
Yeah, yeah. Little Rachel was onto some stuff back in the day.
Well, we'll definitely dive into it when we get deeper into the podcast, but we do want to catch up with some updates before we jump in. The first one, though, I want to ask about Morgan. I saw you running. You're running.
Yes.
Y'all,
Yeah.
okay. Y'all know that I said, okay, my running journey. So at the beginning of 2024, one of my, y'all know I don't do resolutions, but my thing that I want to reintegrate into my life was running. And how many weeks did we give it to the first time? It was 2 or 3.
I think so. I think you made it a solid 3 weeks. Because
okay, that's good.
Storm,
Yeah, the snow really was making it so I wasn't in the mood. But gave up and I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this shit anymore. And then running just keeps coming up for me in things. So
Okay.
I'll be talking to someone and they're talking about running, or I was at training for Solid Core this past weekend and the DC Running Club was out there running, or it'll just like randomly pop in my mind, and I'm like, okay, Morgan, you need to be running. Like, obviously something the universe wants you to start running again. Like, stop playing around. Like,
Yeah.
and I've been talking about wanting a better form of cardio because I'm not someone who's gonna join a gym for a treadmill. Like, that's like
Yeah.
ridiculous.
No, that's yeah.
And I didn't bring my Peloton to DC, so I'm like, well, that was my form of cardio before, so I need to do something else. Since I love walking and being outside, why not run? If I start now, then I can get like good at it, like, build my endurance up enough for when it's hot outside, then I can really
Yeah.
do it. If I start when it's hot, I know I'm quitting.
Yeah.
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 So,
That's smart.
He like
yeah.
no.
Yeah. Y'all would hear me the next week be going, okay, so I quit running because I can't.
I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you. Trust me, I was on a running kick for a while as well. I haven't really picked it back up, but after some time, once you get to that running high, yeah, you're gonna stick with it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it I started yesterday, and I told myself and my close friends on Instagram, like, okay, y'all, I gotta hold myself accountable because I'm someone who's like, I'm gonna run, and then
Don't do it.
so yeah. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna hold myself accountable because I don't have a running buddy yet, and like I want to join the DC running club, but like my ego will not let me join it before I'm a good runner because I'm not.
I feel that.
Yeah, like I'm not playing those games. And also like the people I saw running.
Yeah.
I don't know, look stupid, okay? It was some men's up in there. So I need to like
Maybe that's why running keeps coming up. Like that could be your new core group of like East
Yeah.
Coast friends. Your man could be in the running club.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm supportive of it. I think running is a really good thing. Like, and like the way it contributes to what other exercises you're doing is like top tier. Like, yeah, for sure. So
Exactly.
I'm rooting for you. I'll check in and see how you're doing in a couple
Yeah,
weeks.
keep me accountable, check in on me. My goal was just to see how long I could. So like when I started in January, it was like a mile a day, right, Sydney?
Okay.
And then I was like, the mile a day is whatever, but like I'm someone where if I work out, I want to feel like I'm getting something out of this workout.
Yeah.
And like a mile wasn't feeling like I was getting anything. It was giving like PTSD from PE. So like I need like a real like a real run. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna like start. And yesterday I did like a little over 3, and then today I did 4. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stay in that 3 to 4 for like the next week
That's
or
good.
so, and then see if I can start building and building and building and see. Maybe I'll sign up for a marathon, y'all. Don't quote me, but like
No, dude, I would say start. Pause. I would say start. You're pushing it. I ain't even gonna sit down and give you no rah. Don't do that. I would say start with a half. That's a little bit more doable. The 3 to 4 though, that's a sweet spot, and I think you should more focus on like 3 to 4. Once that starts feeling easier, then you can add more, like a mile or 2 on it, and then you can start working on your pace. They're like actual like marathon training programs that you can take that trains you specifically like for it. So yeah. But you're doing it right.
Yeah. And the outfits are cute. Like I need to get the little vest and like if I'm gonna do something, I have to be cute. So I have to like do all of that.
No, of course. Of course. No. And trust me, that marathon body plus working out is tea. Like
hello.
Yeah.
Don't
For
tell
sure.
me.
If you run a marathon, I'm literally flying in. Like I'm literally going to be. I will be driving to the different checkpoints. Don't get me wrong, but like I will fly in.
No, literally. Yeah. No, that's huge though. I'm rooting for you, Morgan. I'm pretty sure you're gonna do it. Like in a couple weeks, I expect to hear from you. Like, oh my god, I'm loving this running high that I'm getting.
Yeah. I mean, so far, like today was easier than yesterday. So like every day it's gonna get easier. And I think my sweet spot will be like run 4 to 5 days a week, so I don't just like exhaust myself.
Yeah.
And then kind of go from there. Because on top of like doing regular weight training and Legree/solid core, like there's a lot of things that like I could overwork my muscles. So I just want to like keep a sweet spot.
Yeah. I think 4 times a week is pretty solid. Yeah. Love that. Okay. All right.
What's going on with y'all? What's new? What's happening?
What's going on with me lately? I haven't been doing too much. I've been very busy at work lately. So that's been my main focus. Trying to keep this job, trying to keep my dollars. So been really focused on that. But also just been like really heavy on like thinking about what's my next step. Like what's my legacy from a Rachel standpoint. And I have so many ideas. Like I've spoken to Sid about these things too, but I'm just trying to like put more things on paper when it comes to my interests and actually getting them started. So I've been having like a lot of talks with my mom and friends back home. Have a little like wine thing I want to get started. I don't want to share too much yet, but when it is ready to share, I'll ensure you guys know about it as soon as possible. But yeah, I'm just trying to like think about my next step. Like I'm trying to be at a corporate America soon, like 10 years, you know, make my money, leave my impact. Then I only work because I want to work, not because I need to work. And I'm like doing other things outside of that that actually like fulfills me. So yeah, yeah,
That part.
That's the dream. That is
yeah.
literally the dream.
We gonna see in this economy. Oh my
They're
god.
trying to shackle us to corporate. Like, they're literally trying.
Literally, yeah.
Shackling us to corporate life while also trying to lay us off and push us out as much as they can. It's like, okay, it's a give and take. Either you want us or you don't. This is toxic.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't.
It's like a catch-22 situation, you know. It's like they're like, we need you at work, but we also don't need you. So we're just gonna going back and forth with you each time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been like hearing that, like, right now, there's kind of been a boost in hiring, quote unquote. Who knows how true that is? But like, even when I'm on my little like doom scroll TikToks, I've seen people saying that like they are getting hit up by recruiters for jobs that they applied to like 3 months ago.
Really?
Yeah. And like a lot of them have said like either like no, off principle because it took them
Mhm.
3 weeks to hit them up, or like they've moved on to other opportunities, or they've decided to like go out and start their own thing because they've been unemployed for so long.
So
It's just
long,
like
yeah.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting. I'm curious to see what the world looks like in 5 years because I think we're in a space right now where we have a lot of qualified people being laid off, and then you're going to have every year new graduates coming out of college. And with that being said, the people who are being laid off because there's such a small job market, even though the government is saying like, "Oh, hiring is booming," no, it's not.
Right.
Yeah.
But what we're going to see in the next couple of years is highly qualified people are going to be competing with fresh graduates for entry level jobs because people need to pay their bills.
Yeah.
And when you have that going, people are willing to take a pay cut because they have to pay their bills. And we're going to now be filled with so many people who are unemployed, or, you know, they may find opportunities to like do their own business and stuff, but entrepreneurship isn't easy. So the likelihood of that being successful for everyone isn't necessarily high per se. So we're now gonna have this huge like job like doom going on in the next couple of years where you just have people who are unemployed and can't get qualified jobs to match their actual like living lifestyle. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm really hoping like that kind of forces like a new industry to pop up. Like
It might. It might.
really hoping, because I think
Yeah.
when
And
the shove, like that's when new stuff starts to pop up that we didn't even like fathom before.
oh for sure.
I
For
don't
sure.
know what like it might be environmental stuff because we all know how
Yeah.
that's going. But
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah. Let's hope so. Let's hope so. I was like, I'm gonna tell my kids like, you don't have to go to college. Like
Yeah,
these
no.
days, with how much tuition it is, they're not paying your student loans. That's a lie. So it's like you're just gonna be in debt to be broke. Like that makes literally no like that sentence doesn't even make sense.
If
Like
I
yeah,
have kids, they're getting a trade. Like you can go to
Learn a
school if you're
skill.
interested in learning, but you are
yeah,
getting a fucking trade. Like one of you is gonna be a plumber, one of you can do hair, nail. I don't know, but like
yeah,
you're gonna have a
yeah,
skill to fall back on.
yeah.
'Cause even during my time of being unemployed, like I know PowerPoint. Like I don't have a trade. I don't. I don't know.
Yeah, no, but seriously, no, that's a great point. Like, all jokes aside, like, trades make so much money. I think a lot of people don't realize that, and it's actually a dying art in today's society because so many people are in like tech, and everyone think like that's the only way you can make money. But at the end of the day, like, trades are always going to be needed because there's going to be infrastructure. There are people that have needs and will not want to do those things themselves. So that physical labor is going to always be necessary, and because it's a dying art, you can actually negotiate decent wages for yourself and actually end up probably making more than a person that's in tech. You may not have stocks and stuff, but you can get an education to get it. So it's like, I think people don't realize that that's a true like avenue for you to learn and like get into for real. So yeah.
Also,
Girlies, men are in
not to
trade.
man bash, but I feel like men these days like don't know how to do anything with their hands. Like everyone's in tech and nobody knows how to build anything, no one knows how to fix anything, nobody
Oh
knows how
yeah.
to change a tire. And so I'm like, okay, so when like we're not at work and things happen or like something breaks, I gotta fix it. Like I'm
Yeah.
stressed out. Like
Yes,
that's
you do.
like I don't, and
Log
like
in
not
at
to,
the
you know, I don't want
deadline.
to get canceled on this episode too, but like come on now.
No,
No, that's fair. That's fair. No,
I
I
Like I know
agree.
agree.
y'all have experienced this. It's not just me.
No, you're right. You're very right. It's just interesting, because and then they throw the whole argument off. But I thought you wanted equal rights. That's not the point.
No,
I
right,
wanted the option. The option.
right. Sure, I
Like,
want that. But I also like if we're just gonna be real here, like you are physically stronger than me. So there are things that you
yeah,
should physically be able to do that I
yeah,
cannot achieve. But if I'm
yeah.
over here being Babiana the Builder and you are broke with, what are we doing? Like
No, that's real. That's real. And the two of us gonna be in the house looking like Boo Boo the Fool with no idea of how
well,
to
I'm
do
not
it.
gonna be looking like Boo Boo the Fool because my mama taught me how to fix it. But it's not my job.
That's real. That's real. I agree with that. Plus one.
But you know, whatever.
In summary, but whatever.
Yeah, but whatever.
Y'all are cubicle men and can't build shit is basically what we're saying. Like, no, I agree. I agree. But I want to pivot
Mm.
just slightly. Still
Okay.
in the realm of ain't shit.
Um,
Love is Blind. We have to talk
Yes.
about it. Just like even if it's just for like a couple of minutes. So where are you two on like the rollout of Love is Blind? Have you finished? Started?
I'm caught up.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm caught up enough. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Twitter
Like,
caught up.
yeah, I'm caught up on what I need to get caught up on.
Period.
Period. Okay. Yeah, so Clay and AD.
Yeah, that's tough. That's literally the the realistic look of what dating is like. If my husband saw me on the altar and was like, "Oh, your body is tea," I'm sorry, but
I know it is, but damn.
and then you're gonna be like, "Period."
What are y'all doing on the altar? What are you doing?
No.
What are you doing?
Yeah. There's a time and place for everything, but I think it was Love is Blind was, I think, created for a few people to meet who are like, I think there are two couples specifically that met, was successful, and still married up to this day.
Yeah.
But I think the way it's progressing, it's messy, but it's showing what the realistic looking, like, look of what dating is like today, and how it is a lot of people going to dating thinking they have the intention of something serious but can't commit. And then because they cannot commit, they don't understand why they can't. And because they don't understand why, then they pull all the bullshit about why, what's wrong with the person, versus realizing like a lot of times it has something to do with you and kind of understanding what your trauma and background is. So I think it's a good like eye-opening experience for a lot of people to see like this is literally what dating is like. Dating is like hell these days, unfortunately. And as I'm sad that Eddie was humiliated like that in that space, but there are a lot of signs pointing to Clay not being shit. And a lot of times as women, we decide we want to settle. Oh, he'll get there. I'll change him. Yada, 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 yada. And it never works. He gets everything he needs without the commitment. And it was just like, I'm happy that everyone, like, this discourse is happening, because we really do need to have that discussion. Like, this is literally a Twitter relationship that we saw live and direct on Netflix.
Oh,
Yeah.
it literally was. And like when she kept saying like, I see potential in you that you can't even see in yourself. Like, I'm here to push you. I'm here to do this. Like, she is giving him everything. Like, she is ride or dying for somebody who literally is like, I can't get married because I don't want to cheat on you. Well, don't cheat.
Yeah.
Or I know I have a lot of generational trauma, but I'm not going to therapy. Well, go to therapy. Like, there's like, you're saying the things and then he's like, oh, don't think, since when he broke it off with her, and then she, poor thing, was sobbing in the bridal room. Then he went up there and it's like, I don't want to don't think that I'm giving up on this. Like, this isn't over. Like, when I see you cry, it makes me really sad. Like, you don't think this is over? You just humiliated me on national TV. What you could have done is like, what's the white boy name that was dating Megan Fox?
Jimmy, something like that, whatever his
Jimmy
name
and
is.
Chelsea.
And he said something the day before so she wouldn't have to embarrass herself and her whole family come there and walk down the aisle and do all that crying and vowing.
Yeah.
You sold me a wolf ticket. I don't like that.
Yeah.
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 And then he said, "Can I have a hug?" That shit blew me. That blew me.
That is the line. Can I have a hug?
Yeah. Yeah. But it's audacity. That's the thing, though. Like, men have a lot of audacity. And yeah, they just have a lot of audacity. That's like all, like, that's, yeah.
All they have
Yeah.
is the audacity.
It's just audacity. It's crazy. And it's funny, my mom's always told me, she's like, we always fall in love with the idea of someone and not who they really are as a person. And when they show us who they are, we create all these scenarios and excuses as to why it is, nah, that's not true. I appreciate this idea of this person. And it's like, it's our fault, like, we have a part to play in that, because you can't fall in love with someone's potential, like, been there, done that. Like, it works for some people and that's great, but the realistic point is that we're humans and we use each other even if we don't want to admit it. And a lot of times you're going to use someone that has that kind of patience to see your potential and be patient with your decisions and excuses and mistakes. And it's like, no, because you just don't have respect for me.
Oh, yeah. And people who are naturally givers and naturally nurturing are always going to attract people who are broken and needy. And so, like, because you are thinking, like, you see the good in people and you see the potential, and that person is a wounded bird and they're just looking for anybody to come save them. And it's like, you can't save everybody. And especially when you're in like a marriage situation.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not.
Yeah, that parent situation, like, I'm so happy that aired on national TV, because she was so eloquent with her words, where she got him all the way together from beginning to end without ever losing her cool, but showing him why it is that he ain't shit, and because he ain't shit, the son ain't shit, and because you're claiming your daddy wasn't shit, that's the reason you ain't shit. Like, we ain't trying to hear. And her line of, you had me, but you were not good to me, like, I felt that to my core, because that is literally what a lot of our parents experience. Like, the mothers in our relationships, they stayed with the father because you love them, you want to have a household that's like full, all of that, you keep up with the bullshit, and you don't want to leave because you're thinking about other people before yourself. And like, that just keeps passing along, because the kids see that, they think it's normal. And yes, as adults, you make the decisions, like, to know what is right or wrong, but certain things are ingrained in you, and it's gonna take a while for you to want to like face yourself and actually like address those things. So I love that. That was probably the best part for me in that episode. Like, she ate that whole conversation up.
Yeah, one of my best friends was saying, like, all reality TV is like a case study for reality, like, all of it.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not into reality TV, you aren't into psychology.
Yeah.
You are into, what's the study of people that isn't psychology? Maybe a sociology. I don't know.
Yeah, it might. Yeah, that is it. Yeah, yeah, you know your thing, girls.
Yeah,
Speaking
it's
with.
been a while since I've been in school. You know, like, yeah, that one, whatever that one is. Yeah, but like literally to your point, Rachel, I didn't even think about that because even when I was watching the interaction, I was like, yeah, she did get him together, but also like, yes, it's literally so many people's experiences within the Black community, and
Mhm.
like AD's experience is not a rare experience by any means. Granted, at the altar for sure, but like women, I mean, we just talked about this with Risa Teresa, like, and
Yeah.
I saw someone say AD is not too far off from Risa Teresa at all.
No. No.
Like at all. This
Yeah.
girl literally sat up there and said, I when I see red flags, I just want to like paint my nails to match or something. Like,
I'm screaming. That's crazy, but like, yeah.
But then she also was like, it's always me. I'm never enough. I always keep these men and help them become something, and then they go off and blah blah blah. So like she sees the
Yeah.
that this is like a self-fulfilling prophecy. She calls it out in the beginning, and then it happens as she says it's going to happen, and then it ends the exact way she said it's going to end. So it's
Yeah.
like at some point there's accountability in that,
Yeah.
where it's like, girl, in the pods, like, because and it makes it even more red flaggy because it's not like she saw him first and was like blinded by a pretty face or a nice smile, right? Like she was hearing red flags in the pods and didn't even know what he looked like, but
Yeah.
still was going for the red flag. It was like, I'm gonna let this free flag fly, and we're gonna roll through it to the altar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. It's funny you say that too, because I was reading something on Twitter and someone was like, "Love isn't blind, love is just deaf," because like people can tell you, people can show you and tell you there ain't shit. But
triggered.
it don't matter because guess what? Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. Like really, that's a matter.
Literally,
I'm
though.
like, that's real. That's real right there.
Everyone is always, my mom has always said to me, and I bet like other older Black ladies have said this, and it's been on things, but they're always like, always believe what a man tells you. If he says something, he really does mean it.
Yeah.
Like women are very action, like we
Yeah.
do things, show love, but like men, if they say something, like they mean it. They're not like trying to play a game with you. Like, sweetie, he doesn't like you. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. No, seriously, no, you're that's that's so like him being mean isn't always like it's just cute. No, he's really trying to get rid of you.
But no, actually, but like, yeah. You guys remember the tweet that went viral where it's like when you start to hate your girl or whatever, and like all
Mhm.
the
And every single man could relate with so
I had to
many.
stop
Oh,
reading. I had to. Like,
yeah.
Maureen, you haven't seen this?
no.
Yeah,
You
we're
just
gonna have to find it. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure I can find it for sure.
can't
But
find it because
Yeah,
what?
we'll send that to you. Just
yeah,
prepare to be triggered
yeah,
because I feel like
yeah,
every woman has experienced
for
like
sure.
at least one of these retweets, and it's literally just men realizing that they hate the person that they're with but refusing to leave and
Yeah,
just like acting out until the woman can't take it anymore.
yeah, yeah.
There was
It's
a you listen to Shits and Gigs, Sydney.
Oh yes.
yeah. I love that show.
Okay,
Yeah,
you too.
me
Did
too.
you listen to the most recent one where they were like doing like the worst like cheater like
Mm-mm.
execution
I
or
haven't,
whatever?
I haven't seen it yet.
God, and it was one of them was like it was like gaslighting phrases that men or they didn't say it. They were like men and they're like no people but men say back like after, and so one of them was like um wow, you really were going through my phone. So you really violated my trust like that? Like you were really
Yes.
invading my privacy? I'm like, oh, so you're really gonna gaslight me.
Yeah.
Literal gas-
Going to the
that's
phoner,
not
but you're
private.
gaslighting me.
You don't get to cheat in private. I'm so sorry. Like
Yeah.
that's not part of the agreement.
Yeah.
Like what are you talking about?
Yeah. If it's one thing men gonna do, they're gonna spin it right back on you, and they're gonna have you like, really? Okay.
No, the one that got me was it's like he heard it from somebody or she heard it from one of her friends told her, and the guy was like, She was like, "Oh, if you really trust her over me, wow, I'm your whole man, and you really believe that girl over me? Like that's crazy. Like you really."
I've heard all of these lines. Like I've literally like
Yes, I do believe her. Yes, I do. Because what is she thinking?
No, for real. They will literally say, "You saw me walking down the street with that person. Show me a picture." Because your eyes must be lying. Like you got to be lying to yourself. Yeah, yeah. It's sad though. It's sad. It's yeah. People need
Triggering.
to go to
Like,
therapy. I'm sorry.
so triggering. And the thing is, like, for women like us who are like, I mean, I would say like I'm a lover girl. Like I really do like love and like
Yeah,
relationships and
for sure.
happiness, like all of that. And I'm not over here on my toxic hype anymore. I left that in the past. But like it's not, dating is terrible. Like it makes you go on one date, like you think you've healed from something, you're like, oh yeah, I'm fresh and ready to roll, like I'm gonna try again. You dip your toe in, acid, burnt. I'm clean out again. Like I can't do it no more. I'm done. Like I'm scared.
You get acid reflux.
Yeah. My body's having a visceral reaction to these men.
Yeah. Yeah. It sucks. But I think one thing, it's funny, I talked to my therapist about this, and like I've been single for a couple years, and I casually date, but I don't seriously date. And now I think I'm in a space where I'm ready to seriously date because I've been working on myself with my therapist. And I was telling her, I was like, this dating thing sucks. Like it is just not what I thought it was at all. But she's like, if you love love and you believe in it, you have to wear your heart on your sleeve and you have to be okay with being hurt. But the only difference is that you now have the tools where you know your boundaries, you can pick up your red flags quicker, and you can have certain conversations in the light that you want to. And I was like, that's very fair. And I was like, well, I go out on dates and stuff, but I don't have that same excitement versus like if I'm in a casual situation. For example, if I'm like, I just know I'm trying to, you know, boom, bang, bang for the night, just chill. You got an excitement, you're good to go. And then with the dating, like, yeah, you like the person, they're cool, but there's no excitement. She's like, you know what? There's excitement in tension because you don't know if the person likes you. You don't know how much you like them, but you know you're gonna get something from it. Versus when it comes to dating with intention, there's stability. There's no tension in stability. And because you're so used to that kind of tension, your body is like, red flag, stability, that don't sound right. Now, does that make any sense to you? I'm like, yeah, that's so true. But yeah, it's hard.
good. Like that lady is good.
She be reading me to filth, but I'd be having to put her on pause sometimes.
Sometimes you gotta digest. Like you got to.
Yeah, because the thing is, it's like they say, like when they're like, marriage is hard, relationships are hard. It shouldn't be,
No.
and that is the part where we are like, if something's not hard, then it's not worth fighting for, or it's
Yeah.
not worth it, or
Yeah.
whatever. It's like, no, actually, it shouldn't be hard. It should be like something that seamlessly integrates into your life, and your lives kind of like mesh in a way that is beneficial to both of you, and not like one person constantly feeling tension while the other like it's that give and take should not be there.
Yeah.
And I realized that with the help of my therapist, I was like, oh, okay. I started having different conversations earlier, like just nipping things in the bud where it was like, you know what, we're not even gonna let this snowball, because I know that I am someone who is like, I can fix it. It's okay. We can just work through it. We can do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, we can't. This is a grown ass man. He's lived his whole life fucked up. It's not going to get any better because I got here.
Literally.
That's real. I think relationships shouldn't be hard, but they can be challenging because it's two people's. I think like that's what the word people should start using, because it's challenging because it's two individuals coming together as one, and you have to be okay with people growing separately within a relationship. You're still a unit, but you have to still grow as an individual regardless. And then at the basis of it, you have to be able to communicate. Like arguments shouldn't be a who shouts louder than the other. Arguments should technically be like, how am I going to communicate effectively what my issue is? And we either get to a point where we agree to disagree, or you understand where I'm coming from and we can move past it. Like, yeah, I might be mad, but I'm not going to be shouting on the top of my lungs because that's just not communication whatsoever. So it's like relationships should be challenging, I think, but I agree. It definitely should never be hard because like life is already hard as it is. Like, why should my peace be hard as well?
Can I just come home
Be
to
his
something
peace.
chill? Like, okay.
Literally, yeah. So I agree. Yeah.
Well, good luck to us. I mean, it's not looking too like okay. I'm only optimistic for myself because I'm in a new space, and so
Yeah.
like I
DC's
don't
a good space.
yeah, I don't know any of these men, so like that's great. In Oakland, prognosis was guarded. It was bleak. Like I already knew that situation
Yeah.
had run its course.
Yeah.
You two are well, you're not in Oakland anymore, Sid, but Rachel, you are still newish to the Bay, so there's still people that you don't know.
Yeah. So I was about to say, like, my thing is I'm trying to find somebody that don't know my friends. You know, like
That's hard.
that's hard. But they're out there.
You know
They're
a lot
out
of people.
they're out there because I'll go to like events that I probably wouldn't usually go with my friends. I'd be like, oh wow, you live here? Are you sure? I've never seen you.
Perfect.
Yeah. Go to a place your friends would never go to.
Exactly. Or if you have events and then like a friend invites friends that probably wouldn't come out usually, I'm like, that's great. But it's hard because it's like you spend so much of your time with your friends in these spaces. So you always see the same people all the time. So that's really what you know. And then it's like between work and then trying to just have alone time for yourself, when do you actually find time to explore new spaces? To find these people that are actually out there. And then I don't want to be back on the dating apps. I'm really trying to try this like organic friend of a friend, see you passing and you're like, hello, or something like that.
Overrated. The last man I dated, I met like that. It was like all like met out and about randomly, and it was like our energies matched. Toxic. Like just no better. They're no better on the app, off the app. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So, have y'all seen? There's like certain like random sitcoms or whatever, but I've heard some people that do this. They'll have like a party, and everyone has to bring someone that nobody knows. So like everyone gets a plus one, and they bring someone that's like out of their circle. So it would be like someone that you go to yoga with, or at your yoga studio, or somebody like whatever. And so then you start meeting new people.
I like
So
that.
it's a fun way to
Okay.
bring people into the fold and still like a comfortable situation because they're like 1 degree of separation, so it's very
Yeah.
they're not like a weirdo, but also it's new.
Yeah. It's not bad. We'll see. I don't know. I'm leaving it to God. That is just where I am at this point. It's above me.
Above me.
Okay. But dating is important, yes. But also, Rachel is a bad bitch in her own right. And I do want to like make sure that we talk about how amazing you are.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Outside of these,
trivial matters.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll call it that.
So, okay, Rachel.
Yes.
Knowing, like now, I guess, knowing what you were up to before we met in the Bay, when did you start the music industry stuff, and like what even brought that about? Like for context, everyone, I met Rachel through OTT,
Yeah.
which is like a social org out in Oakland that helps you meet people. Like you also learn cool like life skills. They take trips together. Like it's a cool space. That's where I met Rachel. So I had no idea like who you were outside.
And you know what's funny? I met Sid at the club in Vegas, and and I snuck in a whole. Now I'm not this person anymore, but I snuck in a whole bottle of alcohol into Tao, and yeah, we were pretty lit. But yeah, ever since we've been friends.
Most incredible thing I've ever seen. I was just like, who is this girl? Cut
Oh
to
man.
this section, please.
Oh
So
man.
wow.
But yeah. 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 What was the question again?
I could not. How did you get into the
Outside
music
of
industry stuff?
being,
Yes, perfect.
yeah.
So it's funny. The Stowe Music Distribution actually originally started from my best friend Brandon. Shout out to Brandon. And he's always had an interest in music. Like he's a huge Beyonce fan, and because of his love for Beyonce, it stemmed into learning about all things music, from the business side to the artist side to all of that. But then my situation is a little unique because my family actually comes from music. So I have cousins that are like Grammy Award winning artists, and also uncles and stuff. So I have a pretty deep rooted family background when it comes to music. So, Brandon floated the idea to me during the pandemic. And I was like, okay, this sounds dope. Like, yeah, let's figure it out. He wanted to solve the problem where young independent artists who do not have the knowledge about the music business, or people do not support them from like a business standpoint with their craft. He wanted to provide that opportunity to give them a space to do so. They own all their music. They learn about the music business. So when they do get bigger and sign these deals, they can actually understand what it is they're signing. They can understand the ins and outs of how their music works. And they can develop with people who are willing to actually do that from the grassroots perspective that just doesn't want anything from them. You just pay your fee, and we're not looking to sit down and take 50% of like what you make if you make it big or anything like that. There's just a genuine need to educate people and get them into that space, especially from the Caribbean. So we floated the idea, we got some things going, and we kind of like met with a few people to get feedback, and it was taken very well. This business has been around for maybe like 2-3 years, like maybe 3 years actually now. But this might be the first year we have seriously like picked up steam in a very big way. So Brandon is currently working at Sony Music, and that of course provides a lot of insight in terms of the ways we can improve our business. And then I kind of like focus on the strategy, the focus. I would like to think I'm a really good talker, so I can like talk people into things. And then we have our finance guy. But right now we're focused on like a lot of independent artists who are just trying to get an on-site team to help them with the marketing of their music, feedback on their music, connecting them with people within our network. We're not just a typical distribution company. Like people think about music distribution and they think, oh, you just take the person's song and you send it to like these DSPs such as Apple, Tidal, Spotify. But we do more than that. We do the artist development. We do help with like your music creation, feedback, that one-to-one time. So you can get us at any time if you need something. The marketing aspects, coming up with new innovative ways to get your music out there. So connecting you with DJs, connecting you with other artists that you can work with, connecting you with producers, getting you for shows where possible. So we try to just do a little bit more, and I kind of look on us as like a boutique music distribution company, essentially. So it's been great. We have quite a few artists. I'd say like 10 or so roughly right now, 10 to 12, which is quite a bit. And different genres. So you have dancehall, Christian rock, R&B, hip hop, regular gospel, house music, soul music. So just different ranges. And I'm super excited. We have a lot of projects coming out this year. And yeah, like a lot of people just believed in the vision, and I think people wait to see success of someone first before they decide to join. But that's fine. And we've had success with like 1 to 2 of our artists, and like we're seeing that we're adopting those strategies for them as well. And now we're attracting labels, meaning like small independent labels that want to join or distribution company and work with us to help us like develop their artists and also distribute their music. So it's been a blessing. Like it's very exciting. Like I love music. It's something that is very dear to my heart. So it's nice to be on the business side of it as well. So yeah.
That is so dope.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, we have some vinyls coming out soon, so I'll definitely try to send over some stuff to you guys once we get these projects out. But yeah, we're really trying to like make people feel important, even though they may not have like the Columbia behind them or anything like that. The point is that you'll get there, but until you get there, we're gonna ensure you're prepared as much as possible. So when you're in that position, you can just hit the ground running. Like you're not hitting like an Ice Spice. No disrespect, but like like there's no artist development there,
Real.
really.
Real.
I know what you mean. Yeah. No tea, no shade.
Yeah, I don't want to be canceled. I'm just like-
Look, they be riding hard by Spice.
there you go, there you go, there you go. But yeah, yeah.
We.
Yeah, that's incredible. Like yeah, I just don't know anybody that's literally like our age like doing that. Like that's like I'm like mind blown a little bit. Like I knew what you were working on, like I've seen you post about it, but like the fact that you're like you have multiple artists, you're developing them, you're seeing success and like beginning to expand
Yeah.
is like at our age is wild.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Like, it's really like I have to give so much credit to Brandon for him like going out on a limb, and he knows so much of the ins and outs when it comes to the music, and I've just learned so much from him. Um, and I can like everyone uses their own strengths. Like he has his music business brain. I have my brain when it just comes to connecting the dots, figuring out, keeping everyone on track, thinking bigger, all of that. And yeah, like he's just really taught me a lot about this. And I find it so interesting because I meet so many interesting people. I listen to people and I'm like, I can't believe you're not big yet. And we have people who are seeing success in this day and age who have no talent, anything close to you. Um, and it just shows you how saturated the music industry is and how much it aligns with how big you get on these platforms. Like a lot of times, really these days, it's like if you blow up on TikTok, you're probably more likely to get a deal from a major company just based on that hype in itself. But the art or the craft of developing a true artist, like when you think of like some of the greats today. You think of the Beyonce, you think of the Victoria Monet, you think of the Kanye West, the Jay Z's, like all of those artists. There was development and true like push in their artistry to get to them, to get to the point where they are today, where they're so sustained, even years past the beginning of their journey. And when you look on some of today's artists, they get maybe 1 to 2 years, and then that's it. They're off, they get sucked into these deals and don't really understand what's going on, end up turning to drugs, end up falling. Like there's just such a battle downward because fame is not easy. A lot of people who have fame, you have some serious demons in your closet. And it's like for you to really keep a pure and true heart, like you have to be willing and ready to say no to certain things that can get you to that stardom. But at the same time, you have to trust that the people that hear your music, whether it's within the industry or just fans, are willing to ride with you. And I tell all my artists, look on like a Victoria Monet success story. She's been around for years. People think she's just coming up. Like she's been writing for years. And her speech was so, it resonated with me because she literally said she gave her packet to a label for them to listen to her music and see what she's all about. They did not want to sign her, and a black woman left the company and took a chance on her to be her manager. And a couple years later, she's now a 3-time Grammy-winning award winner and has some of the best R&B music that's out there today. And if that is not testament to staying true to yourself and pure to what your artistry is, I don't know what is. So, yeah.
Yeah, and like not taking those shortcuts, like really standing 10 toes down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we see so many artists these days that are literally that one hit wonder. Is that what that saying is? Yeah, they like come in, they have some viral TikTok song, and then, or it's like, especially in like R&B. When I think of R&B and hip hop, I think of the best R&B and hip hop to me tells a story.
Yeah.
And a lot of it doesn't anymore. Excuse me. And it's like a catchy hook and then some like weird mumbo jumbo ad libs. And then that's really it. Like there's nothing in these songs that are like
no
any real thought behind it. Like I feel like that stuff ended with the like Lil Wayne's and the J. Cole's. Like
Yeah,
that's where
yeah,
that stopped. And all the rappers that came after that, it's like,
yeah.
child, the Lils and the I don't even know what their names
No,
are.
seriously, yeah, yeah. It's yeah, it's crazy. So it's like, and there's so many artists. Like I listen to so much music that every day I discover someone new. I'm a lover for like good R&B, soul. I listen to my hip hop. You know, yeah, I like my little ratchet music every now and then, but I'm not listening to that like 70% of the time. Like that's when you're trying to turn up. But like if I'm at home and I'm just listening, like you discover so many great artists and you're like, I cannot believe people do not know you. Like it is insane. And I think there is something to say about like these DSPs such as like an Apple, a Tidal, a Spotify. It is also their responsibility to, yes, you know, you want to hype up your main artists and all of that stuff, but it's all your responsibility to try and give a platform to people who genuinely have good music, to give people the opportunity to discover that music, to not only just push what's hot and what's new, because just you taking that step can make that person what's hot and what's new. So I think it's a full-blown effort in terms of like getting people to that point, but I just don't know. I just don't know how we're gonna get there, because that's just not what people listen to these days. You know, they hear a little something, you're like, okay, catch, boom, and then everyone they love it, and then that's it. Like no one really cares to say like I'm not listening to this anymore, or like this is trash. The beat is just hot. Like no one is really doing that. So yeah,
And it's that attractiveness bias, right? Like
yeah.
you don't have
Listen,
you don't
that's
have
why
to
you
be.
get into the colorism now.
Well, there's that too. I'll put that into the physicality bias of it all. But like, you don't have to be able to have any talent
No,
anymore. You have to be able to be produced. And like,
yeah,
if you, from your look to your sound to
absolutely,
whatever, like, can you sing over a track? Great. Do you look the way we think you should look? That we
yeah,
can like make money off of this?
yeah.
Sure. But like, I mean, I think about all of the like R&B singers that our parents used to listen to, and more specifically the men. None of
Hmm.
like none of them were cute, and but they could all sing.
Yeah.
Like nobody was like, "Ooh, he is fine." Like
They
not
tricked us
really.
into
There were
them being fine though because they could sing.
because they could sing, and it was like, oh, you had talent. Like you weren't exactly
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Boys to Men. None of them were fine.
Yeah.
Uh, Bobby Brown was not fine. Like let's just go. We can keep going down the line. Like
Yeah.
it
Okay.
didn't get until like the like Tyrese, Tank, Joe, like they were cute, but they weren't. But that was like even later. Then I mean, like the older, like when you really had
Okay.
to just have
The
some talent,
OGs. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
like that music is timeless, and we listen to it, and like younger generations get on it, and they listen to it because it was actually just really good art.
Yeah.
yeah. Yep, that's fair. You're speaking right there. It's yeah, it's something, but it's just music that is timeless. Because I feel like people that know good music will listen to the things that are as old as our grandparents and such. Like you'll never forget those things. I think we have a generation coming up where just the bullshit gets them going. And I don't really know how to fix that situation, you know. But hopefully, like we'll get to a point where good music starts taking over at some point. And we'll get there eventually. You'll have people like myself who are like trying to push that and like put people on, which is why I tell people all the time. I ask people all the time, give me an artist that you think no one knows, but you know that I should know. And like that tells me a lot about you because you can give me someone that's so underground, I can listen to the type of music and I already can tell you the type of person you already are just by that alone. So I like asking people that, or like I'll be like, you should listen to this person, you should listen to this person. I love recommending music because I feel like, you know, you put me on the aux, you're gonna sit down, you're gonna be in there bumping. You ain't gonna be listening to the rah rah all the time. Now, if you want that, we can give you that. But if you're looking for some true underground artist, I got you.
Oh.
Yes,
How
you
do
can
you
tell so much
feel?
about
Oh, go
people
ahead. Go
by.
ahead. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say you can tell so much about people by their taste in music.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially like if we tie it back to what we were talking about before with dating, like when you hear people say some music, I'm like, oh, I know if I can vibe with you or not. Like if your music taste is trash, we can't go any further.
Yeah. If there's like no positivity too, I think it also like the types of music that we're listening to today, you can only listen to so much of it. And I think I saw like this girl on TikTok where she did a study. She listened to certain types of music over an extended period of time to see how it
Yeah.
would impact her mood and how she like viewed life and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This like, to your point, like the quick hit viral stuff is not, it's like brain rot. It's literally like it's not giving. It's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. We're in a very interesting time right now in life. But yeah, like I love well, Sid know this. I collect vinyls. So I love the art of connecting vinyls. And I don't just collect the artists I like. Like these days I've been trying to venture into like old soul, jazz, stuff like that to just like, cuz I'm like I want to do work, I'm going to put a vinyl on, play it, and like the music you're intaking a lot of times impacts so much about like the way you're thinking, the kind of work you're putting out, stuff like that. So it's like I just want to have good music around me at all time. Like I don't want to subject myself to listening to trash music. I can listen to that when I'm drunk. I don't need to listen to it on my day to day when I'm just trying to exist, you know? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I love Sexy Red, but I'm not gonna listen to her as I work.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you know, and like, unless I'm having, like, unless, you know, I'm going into work and I gotta hype myself up, and I'm
Right?
like, yeah, cool. But like, if I'm really trying to focus, like, I'm not listening to no Sexy Red.
Uh,
So, what has been the biggest lesson that you've learned so far? And it doesn't have to just be limited to music, but even
Yeah,
just like looking at your whole life so far, basically, like,
yeah.
and even what led you into music, like, what is that lesson for you?
That's a great question. I did a fireside chat at work the other day, and I got asked this question, and my response is the same, and it would be that failure is a beautiful thing. I think fear is something that holds you back a lot of times because you think you're not worthy, you don't have these qualifications, you think someone is doing better than you, whatever the case may be. But to me, fear only leads you to never finding out if you can actually succeed at something. And these days, I'd rather try, fail, and not have the regret. Like fear to me leads to regret. And I've gotten so much more comfortable these days failing. And even when I look on the business, like we haven't been profitable from the beginning. I was like, oh my God, we're pumping all this money. We're not seeing any results, but it's building fruition now. And it's like, I'm happy I tried. Like, yeah, we may have failed at certain things, but we failed. We kicked it off the bucket and we're figuring out new things. And they're working today. And we're meeting great people because of that. And we're seeing success in different areas. And I think also when I just think about myself in general, things at work, things in my personal life, like I just have to try. Because a lot of times you think this person is smarter than me. And then my work don't cancel me, but I work with people sometimes, and I'm like, I can't believe you get paid more than me. I can't believe that you are the ones making these decisions in terms of what I can and cannot do because you are who you claim you are, and you literally have no logic in the way that you're thinking or what you're doing. But you know what it is? The audacity. People should have audacity. People
Yeah.
should go into a room and behave as if I am the shit. And yeah, you may call me out on it and you may be right. But guess what? I walked into that room and I'm pretty sure I left an impression on someone that said that kind of confidence is a confidence I need in someone. And I really try to like take that with me in everything I do today. So when I feel that fear creeping in, I'm like, fuck it. I'm gonna go for it. I may fail. I'll take my L, but I believe I'll have more W's in this lifetime than I do L's, and I'll leave this life with having little to no regret because I've given myself a chance to fail. And it's really resonated with me. Shout out to John Tia because she's been taking me to church lately,
Oh.
and there's a really good like message around this piece of fear and failure and how that really just connects with like God. Like you cannot have a fear in your relationship with God Because if God is with you, who can be against you? And that is like so freaking real. Like you have to have faith in yourself. You have to have faith in, if you don't believe in God, whatever you believe in, you have to have faith in that thing that is going to get you to that next step, because everyone is deserving of their wins. Everyone is deserving of progressing in life in some way. Everyone is deserving of achieving their dreams. But none of this can happen if you're fearful that you're going to fail at it. Like that makes no sense. So that's, I think, one thing that has really like stuck with me as I've gotten older, that like I'm happy to fail any day. Fail early, fail fast, and you'll go a very long way in life. And like that's kind of like my motto these days that I try to take with like everything that I do. So yeah.
Taking a page out of he said, have the audacity. They could take a page out of these men's books. They have
Yeah.
always had the audacity, and it seems to be working, right? In other contexts. So
Yeah.
let's just have the audacity. Like,
No, I agree. It is like, shout out to our white viewers. Appreciate the support.
have the audacity.
But like y'all got a lot of audacity. Like no disrespect, but it's like you guys really do. And it's like I may not like what you're doing. I may not like what you're saying, but I can respect the audacity you have to think you can come into this space, do and say what you need to do and walk out, and you'll probably be rewarded for it. Do I agree with it? No. But you are betting on yourself. And we as people need to bet more on ourselves, because if you don't believe in yourself, no one is. And confidence really does. Now, I'm not saying being cocky, but like confidence is something that you really can see on a person. Like it's just as if you see someone passionate about something. Like, you guys are doing this podcast, you guys are so comfortable, you're making me feel welcome, you're confident in that. And like because of that confidence, people are going to want to come on this show, people are going to want to watch it. So you have to like bet on yourself and get it done, because otherwise no, people are going to be like, well, if you don't believe in yourself, what reason are you giving me? What's the return on my investment in believing in you? And yeah.
Ooh, that part. What advice excuse me, would you give someone trying to get where you are today?
That's a good question. Ask for help. Now, this sounds crazy because I do not like asking for help.
Explain it to us like we're 5, please.
But every time I reflect and I think about how did Rachel Chambers go from a kid that couldn't speak until she was around 4 to someone that thinks their voice is their superpower and is doing all these amazing things in whatever light it may be. And I think about all the people that were willing to help me, all the people that were willing to pass along the lessons someone else passed along to them. They didn't gatekeep. They didn't think my questions or my dreams were stupid. They were patient, they made an effort. And for me, that's like someone paying it forward and seeing that I needed help and being willing to do that. And I tell people all the time, if it was just me alone in this world to get to where I am today, I would not be here. I may have had audacity as a child, yes, but eventually I became very timid. And with that, you're not going to ask for the things you want. Your mouth is going to be closed, so closed mouths don't get fed. And you're not going to believe like how far you can actually get in this world. And it took a lot of people in my life to like really like get me together and be like, hey, here's a resource, here's an opportunity. Have you ever thought about this? Probably you should stop doing this. Probably you should start doing this. And eventually I realized that these are just people who are paying it forward from people who paid it forward to them. And I think one of my missions, or two of my life missions in this life, would be to always put a smile on someone's face. And then the second thing is to always pay it forward. If I learn something that can be helpful to you, I'm going to share it. Being at the top is lonely, and you don't want to be there by yourself. I want to be up there with my friends and my family, laughing, giggling, looking back, and being able to look on those things, laugh about it, and be happy with where I am with the people that I love and adore. But asking for help is not necessarily a sign of weakness, but it's really a sign of strength, because you can't figure everything out on your own. Like, as humans, we weren't programmed to come into this world to be by ourselves. We yearn affection from others, we yearn love from others, we yearn community. Like, we yearn something from someone else. And if that in itself, as just a basic human instinct, doesn't tell you that help is what will get you to the next place, then I don't know like what else could. And that's really what like really stuck with me, like, I didn't get to college just off of get into Emory just off of the whim of things. Like, my mom and I went to community college together, which is like something a lot of people don't know. And she introduced me to our program, and that program had me like working. I was able to like get some internship experience while going to school. And then that program eventually led me to the community college program as a part of Kaplan Educational Foundation, where they helped community college students transfer to prestigious four-year university. And because of that program, those people, I swear, when I'm a millionaire, billionaire, they will get all my money, because they truly like helped me to get to where I am today. And those people believed in me, took a bet on me, and got me to a four-year institution on a full ride. Emory is not cheap. And I told my mom, like, you don't have to worry, because I'm not going to have you paying for me to go to college. And because of them, I was able to get to college. Because of them, I was able to stay in college and get through it. And then from there, get to where I am right now at Google, and then so forth and so on. But like, it's just asking for help. And like, I think more people should be okay with that. And it sounds taboo because I don't like asking for it. But a lot of times we block our blessings by not opening our mouth. And how can you be upset that you're not receiving something you want because you want to be silent? That is on you. That's on nobody else but on you. And it's like, okay, you ask, you don't get it. That's fine. That was not the blessing for you. And that's okay, because guess what? Someone else is going to come along and 10x that exact blessing that you wanted. And that's something I've seen countless times. And I think people just need to be like very okay with that. So yeah, like asking for help. Like, I think I'm just paying it forward. Like, I think those two things go hand in hand. And people need to like stop having a stick up their ass. Like, just because you're successful does not mean you cannot sit down and pass something along to someone else. Like, there is enough money, there is enough kindness, there is enough opportunity, there's enough of everything in this world for everyone to eat and be comfortable together. There's no reason to gatekeep. I hate gatekeepers. So any gatekeepers watching this, we cannot be friends. I do not like gatekeepers. So like, just pass it forward. So I think that would be my piece of advice. Yeah.
I love that.
Thank
It
you.
reminded me when you said a closed mouth doesn't get fed. I know I was watching Gail King do an interview, and she was, if someone tells me no, that just means I need to ask again, or ask in a different way, because that means it didn't get my point across the first time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, that's true. No is never like really, well, there are some instances where no means no. But no in business sense usually does not mean no. Like, it means that someone doesn't feel like doing something, or it's going to take too much work to get to it, or they don't feel like explaining something. But like, try another route, ask more questions, ask for help from someone else, because that no might just be a not right now, and you can turn that into something else.
Agreed. 100%. 100%. I agree with that. So yeah.
I'm taking mental notes because we've talked about this, and Morgan, we've talked about this. Because it's like asking for help. There's a level of vulnerability.
Yes, 100%.
With asking for help, and like, you have to quiet your ego to ask for help. And if you can't do those two things, that's usually like people's blockers. There's also a fear of rejection as well. But like, to your point, rejection is sometimes protection, or it's forcing you to level up and ask in a different way. But yeah, I'm just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I do not ask for help.
Like, you know what's crazy is that we fear rejection but we reject people and things every day. So it's like we fear the same thing that we do on a very regular basis without even thinking about it. And those people may have the same exact thoughts and feelings that you do, but they were like, fuck it, I'm gonna just do it and cool. It hurts my ego, but I'm gonna move forward from it. And like I think once I started realizing like, oh, but I'm rejecting things. Like I'm rejecting people. How can I sit down and be mad? Like, yeah, you can be mad at it, but realistically, you're just being petty. Like, so it's like, how can I be mad at it when like I'm also doing the same thing too, like in a different way? So yeah.
Real.
And I don't know about you, but I know me and Sydney are both fire signs, and the fire sign ego is tough.
Yeah, I'm not a
Because
fire sign, Sydney.
No, you are a water sign.
Oh, okay.
Rachel is a
okay,
Scorpio.
Yeah.
okay, well then, there we go. The fire over here is keeping it hot, and it's keeping the ego burning, and it makes it hard to ask for help.
I
I'm
get that.
getting better at it. Sydney's
Yeah.
vulnerability. We need to check in with Sydney at the end of this to check on her vulnerability meter because
Yeah.
we we let it slack off for a couple weeks, but we need to check back in on that, Sydney. So but we could always, I think, work on just being more like out of our own heads because
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, the things that we're stressing about, like nobody gives a damn what you're doing. Like a lot of online, like social media people, they always say that they're like, the day that I stopped caring what other people thought about me online is the day that like my thing took off. Or like,
Hmm.
that stuff you can make money, a lot of money on those kind of things if you just stop caring about if someone thinks you're gonna look stupid or someone thinks. A lot of
Yeah.
times that's them being salty or
Yeah.
a hater, like, and they wish that they had the balls to do it.
Yeah.
So, you know,
They say the people that have already successfully done it are never hating on someone who's trying to start.
Nah. Nah. You can't. You can't win with hate in your heart. You win temporarily,
Yeah.
but God knows your downfall is gonna be real bad when it decides to happen. Like,
Seen it in real time. Like,
yeah. So enjoy the win temporarily, but that downfall is not a pretty downfall, like at all. So yeah,
for sure.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
okay.
So I did want to, before we wrap,
Hmm.
I did want to take it back to music for a second.
Yeah.
What is your personal growth soundtrack? 3 songs.
Snap.
And you might be putting us onto something. We're asking for musical recommendations here.
Hold on. I actually have a playlist. Hold
Oh,
on.
supposed to start a
Maybe.
character development. Yeah.
Yeah,
Per
Sydney's going to start that. Says last week,
Purdue.
still hasn't started it. But
All right.
anyway,
All
there's
right. All right.
okay. It doesn't have to be new music. It could be something where it's like if you hear this song, it reminds you of your childhood or whatever. Like things that remind you of you. What songs make Rachel?
Mm, that's a good one. All right. So I gotta pull something from my girl Victoria Monet because I really like her music. Just puts me in a good mood at any given time. Um, I would probably put. Uh, I'd probably say I really like. This is so cliche, but I really like "On My Mama." It's a song. Why I like it, like I was gonna choose something else on the album, but why I like it, I'm someone that when I hear the same song over and over, I'm like, stop playing that shit. It's annoying. I've heard it a million times, but I hear this song, and then because I know the story behind the song, every time I hear it, I will never get tired of it. The song's about her mom, but then also, I believe she said she started writing this song during her pregnancy. She sent it out to try and get someone else on the song, but no one wanted to take the song. So she's like, okay, I guess I just need to write a song. After her pregnancy, she wrote the next verse. And then she didn't expect this song to blow up and get her to where she is today. And that's it, which is why I really like the song. So that's one. Um, then another one, ooh, gotta go to my girl Snow Allegra.
Yep.
So, one second. I'm gonna get the song name. Man, you guys put me on the spot. Um, Find Someone Like You from Others Feels Again. I love this album. It's such a pure, like, lover girl ups and downs album. And I remember I remember playing this for co-work. I remember the exact day this album came out. I was in Australia for work, and I was like telling my coworkers, "Have you guys ever heard of Snow Allegra?" And they're like, "No." And I was at a Google
Boy.
booth. And I literally plugged in my phone at the Google booth and started blasting the entire album. And I think I put a few people onto Snow Allegra then. But I really like that song, Find Someone Like You. Because I am trying to find someone like me. Like, I'm trying to find my partner, my thing, my stink, as they call it, these young people these days. So I'm really trying to look for that, especially because I definitely want to break the broken household I grew up in. I believe I deserve to break that cycle in some shape or form. And then another song that puts me always in a good mood. Oh man, this is tough. Hold on. Oh, gotta go with my guy Smino.
Oh yes.
Love Smino. I'm a huge fan of his album Love for Rent. But I'm gonna go with I'm gonna butcher it right now. Amphetamine, if I'm saying it right. Oh, hold on.
Now I'm butchering it because
Yeah,
you were.
so amphetamine. Yeah, amphetamine. I really love that song. Every time I hear it's like 4 or 5 minutes, 5, 5, 6 minutes, I think. I love that song. It really makes me feel good. I don't think I'm putting nobody on, but if you really want to find people. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I got other people that I can definitely put you on, but yeah, I really like that song. And an honorary mention is "Can't Get Over You" by West Side Boogie, Smino, and Tizo. So yeah,
Okay, we love.
yeah.
Well, we have one more question that we totally forgot that we have to ask everyone, and it's
Oh,
for your character development moment. So, what moment
woo,
in your life, whether personal or professional, was
yeah.
pivotal for you?
I saw this question and I'm sure I thought about it. I feel like I've always thought about character development, but I think what really kickstarted, like, I think I made a whole 180 shift in the last like 2 years, and that was the death of my grandma. And that was probably one of the lowest moments of my life. I think like Sid was around when this was happening. I was in Jamaica at the time with like the OTT group actually when all of this was going on. And yeah, it was one of the lowest moments in my life because I've had death around me before, but I've never had death so close. And I think that was the first time it really like I guess materialized how fickle life is. Like I literally could just not get up tomorrow. And I think um that was a hard like pill to swallow. Like you wake up, you think the thing was a dream, it wasn't, and then you just have to keep living with it like as each day goes on. And I think in that moment I almost like it's weird, I almost like saw my life flashed in front of me to think about the many times of like the lessons she would try to teach me, or the things I wouldn't listen to, or the things I did listen to, or the things I took for granted. Like I'm not gonna lie to you, like I do have a lot of regrets um in terms of like things I could have done better where a relationship is concerned. But I'm getting to a point now where I realize that's a selfish thing to feel because in my heart of hearts, I loved her like more than anything else. And she knew that. Um, and that's the reason why she was giving me the advice she was giving me at all times. And even if I didn't take it in that moment, I'm taking it today. And I think she would be, or she is happy about that. And I have to free myself of that regret. But I think it was that moment when I really had to like reevaluate like friendships, reevaluate like what was important to me, reevaluate my health, reevaluate just what did I want my life to be like. If I knew the day I was gonna die, what are all the things I would like to do, and just get it out of the way. And I think because of that experience, like I'm actually surprised by the growth I've done myself because sometimes I don't even recognize myself. But it's just like I just start taking life a little bit more seriously, in the sense of like, it's not like, oh, I'm a serious person all the time, blah blah blah, but you're aware that your life is in the hands of someone else and not you. Like, you can contribute to living a healthy life, but everybody has an expiration date. We just don't know it. And with that being said, like, how am I living a full life that not only I would be proud of, but the people around me would be proud of? How am I not robbing myself of relationships that are good for me or are fulfilling for me? How am I not robbing myself of opportunities at work by just like slacking off and not taking it serious enough? Now, I'm not saying slave over the white man. I do not do that. But you work for your check. You have the opportunity to have a job. A lot of people don't, and I have to be grateful about that and show up in some capacity. I have to think about how I'm taking care of my health. You know, everybody knows Rachel. Everybody knows autopilot Rachel when she's drinking, and it's like, I can't do that 24/7. I have to understand how that makes me feel after the fact. That I have to understand that all of that was definitely just coming from depression and not from a standpoint of, oh, I'm just trying to have fun. And that wasn't the case. Like, I was very depressed. I may not have, I knew that in that moment. People probably around me knew that in that moment. But we were all allowing myself to indulge in it because that was the only thing that could like make me feel better, to take my mind off whatever it is was, affecting me at that time. So I think I made a vow to myself that I was 2022, because we're in 2024 right now. At the end of 2022, it's funny, my grandma would always tell me, Rachel, why do you like going out on New Year's Eve? Like, you should stay home. Like, that sets the tone for your year. You're going out, you're drinking, yada yada. There's a lot of bullshit that happens. And I'd be like, you're so lame. Like, you're old. Like, stop worrying about that stuff. And these days, you ain't catching me out of my house on New Year's Eve. Like, no. So I vowed to myself on 2022 New Year's Eve that I was gonna make a concerted effort to really turn my life around and take myself seriously, because I wasn't doing that. And if I truly wanted to see the change and the dreams that I have for myself come to fruition, I have to be serious about myself and put that investment in me, and stop blaming the world for problems that I was causing for myself at the end of the day. And it took a lot of like hard work in therapy. It took a lot of hard work in creating boundaries and actually sticking to them. And it took a lot of hard work of taking myself out of relationships or situations that truly wasn't serving what I had an idea of for like my future self, or like whatever changes I wanted to make. Um, and that was like really my major, like, shout out to my angel. Like, it sucks that it took for that to get to where I am today, but that must be in the plan God has for me. That must have been in the book that He wrote for the life of me, and I will take it. And every time, I feel the need to slip, I remember it. Or every time if I do slip, I don't beat myself up over it, but I ensure I don't make it a recurring theme moving forward. Because the thing is, you slowly take the bad habits away, and not necessarily, you're not going to get rid of it overnight. Like, I'm realistic with myself, but you're making an effort where something that maybe happened 10 times is now only happening 5 times. That's a 50% success rate right there. Eventually 5 times will become 0 times, and I can be okay with that. So yeah, I think that's what my major like pivotal moment is. And I think every year I get better and better at it. Like the end of 2023, and this was last year was the first year I actually had goals that I met, which is crazy. I write goals every year, and I never make them. I never make them, and I could never understand why. And last year was the first time in my 27 years of existence that I crossed off majority of my goals. And I was like, that is nuts. And that was enough for me to be like, now to ramp up the development again for the next year and start making more changes and like hitting those same goals again for this year. So yeah, that was my moment. There's a lot of growth that can come from death. And I miss her every day, but I'm very grateful for the lesson she's still teaching me up to this very day. So yeah.
That was beautiful. And she walks with you,
Yeah.
and in all of these successes and things, like she's with you in your heart through that, and it's probably the force pushing you through it.
Yeah.
Uh, so that's really beautiful. Ah,
Thank you.
that was a great character development moment.
I appreciate that. Thank you. No, that's a very, very good question. I love that question. Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, like, I I think anyone that's known you like over more than a year has seen the growth. Even if they don't
Yeah.
realize like what the catalyst was, like you're doing your thing.
I
Every
appreciate
day
that.
though. Like very present. You've always been like a great person. You've always been a great friend, but like you are just like very much here and like you got like a light to you. Like yeah, it's just
I appreciate that, Sid. Yeah. Sid has met me in a lot of states.
we've
You know,
been in a lot of stages. So
Wait.
we both met in Vegas. So like we
Yeah, that growth has been nuts.
yeah.
From sneaking bottles into the club to now, it's
Yeah.
like
Like look on that. No, for real, for real. But no, like I really do appreciate you guys having me here and like being able to talk on this is my first real podcast as a guest. I'm excited. I think this is awesome. I watch y'all shows. So I'm happy that you guys are actually doing this and giving a platform to people that you know in your life that can speak to a lot of things that are relatable and people can take from it. So thank you for thinking of me and giving me the honor of being here. And yeah, like I'm just looking forward to the success of this overall podcast, and I'm hoping it reaches the people who it should reach in its time. So yeah.
oh, thank you. No, you were awesome and just like so easy to have on. Like, you took it there. Like, we ask a question and then you take it and run. And way more than we thought. We have like all these questions that we bank out where it's
Oh
like, okay,
yeah.
these just in case, like it's more of a pull. Like it
Yeah.
was you were in it to win it. So
I appreciate it. Thank you.
That's your superpower confirmed.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You guys were very welcoming, so that made it very easy.
Sydney and I can do one thing. It is know how to kiki. So like
Yeah, I love me some kikis.
but we're like, why not kiki but also grow? Like that's good. So let's put both of them together. And
Yeah. Life is all about laughter. So it's like you can still grow, but like you gotta laugh at some point. Like you can't just be, like you can't just be growing and serious all the time. Like relax.
There was literally a 4-month period. I like peeped. I was like, I have not laughed in 4 months. Like dead ass.
I'm clocking it.
Like, you're so deep in it. Like you're like, because there comes a point for everyone in their growth. And it's usually like the catalyst for some real growth.
Yeah.
But like you're just so deep in it, like shit is not funny.
No, for real. Like why are you laughing? No, for real. That's real.
Even though I say broke people should never laugh.
Yeah, that's real.
Really how I felt. But like I think, and I actually realized it after I talked to you, Rachel. I had called you and like we were just like laughing just about like where we came from to like where we are now. Literally a character development catch up before like even this was a thing. And like I was like, damn, like I haven't
like this feeling is I haven't had this feeling in a minute.
I got a serious over here. Like
yeah.
Well, with that being said, let's end it off with, because I didn't forget, Sydney, how's your vulnerability going?
Oh yes.
It's
actually, update the people.
Okay, it is really good. It's really good. Like it's been hard. There are literal moments where I cringe at myself, like dead ass. Like I'm like ugh, but like I'm doing it. it's
Yeah.
gonna eventually become more comfortable. Yeah, like, yeah, even okay. As an example, obviously not getting too vulnerable because we're not there yet. But I'll just give you like, like another type of example. But like, okay, so when I left California, I had left my job and the market was shitty. So I had applied for unemployment. I had gotten denied unemployment because I had like chosen to leave or whatever. So obviously I appealed it because I'm like, I paid into unemployment this entire time. Like,
Hmm.
how are you telling me when for the first time in my entire life, when I'm not working, you don't qualify for unemployment?
Yeah.
So did all of this back in October. Recently, like literally like 3 days ago, had my appeal case, like literally had to sit on the phone with the judge and like really like defend myself. Old Sydney would have been like too prideful to like talk about why I needed unemployment and like all of this other stuff. And like I really had to like check my ego and be like, to your point, Rachel, this is something you deserve, you have earned,
Hmm.
you've put in the time to get this back. And when you need help and support, you got to ask for it. And
Yeah.
like the judge, she was like, all right, I'm about to close the case to review. Any final words? And at first I said no. And I was like, no, like that's pretty much it. And then like she said, oh, I have another question. She asked her question. And then she was like, all right, now any final words? And I was like, that's interesting. Cause like she asked me twice. So
Hmm. Should say something.
like she's literally
Anything.
asked me like now is the time to be vulnerable
Hmm.
and like really, so that's just an example. I've been vulnerable in other areas of my life with my family, like dating, but like yeah, I have been actively working on it,
That's
actively.
good. That's good.
I've
That's
been
good.
reading Bell Hooks All About Love. I got to the second
Ah.
chapter and had to take a break though because I was literally in a cold sweat, but
Yeah.
I will get back to it. So like yeah.
It's gross to me, and honestly, we'll take it because
Yeah.
episode 1, your goal was to work on vulnerability, and
Hmm.
as long as I think this will be episode 11, so we are slowly getting there, and
Good.
it is growth,
It
so we'll
is.
take it.
It is. It is. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. I'm rooting for you. Keep doing it.
You're all really.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
As she goes into the corner.
Literally, I'm like plans to edit out this segment. Like,
I think she doesn't. We're not editing this out.
I'll
I'm
do the
gonna
editing this week, Morgan. Don't worry about it. I got it.
sneakily upload it to the Instagram. Be like, cut out clips.
Saying I'm dating is like vulnerable. Like,
Others. Look at you. You're thriving. And
Yeah.
but like, okay, a real world application. We don't need to go into your dating life on here because it's not people's business.
we won't.
But you being more vulnerable has opened doors for you in
Yeah.
ways that have been beneficial, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
We have talked about it. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god.
We
Yeah.
love this.
Love that. Love that.
2024 Sydney is vulnerable. She's taking risks. She's
Ew, I literally feel gross right now.
She's
I
like,
literally have anxiety. Like my stomach feels weird. Like I don't like it. I don't like it. But
she's
yeah,
like, take this feeling away. Take it away. Oh man. Yeah.
so thanks for joining for another episode of Character Development. We'll see you next week for episode 12.
Bye guys.